Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contagion Chronicle Fog over Lyndon Station. This is session one of our, I guess you could say, seasonal, our story for the season, our spooky, creepy little tale of terror in wholesome Midwestern America. Excuse me. I got all verklempt just thinking about it. Got a frog in my throat. Before we dive too deep into that, though, I do want to remind you that this month is also the They Came From month. It's the 10th anniversary of Onyx Path Publishing, and each month we are celebrating a different game line. This month's game line is They Came From. Currently, it's They Came From Beneath the Sea that is on discount, I think still for a day or two. So you're going to want to hurry up and take advantage of that if you haven't, because it's a bunch of PDFs for 10% of their cover, not off of their cover. On a personal note, I also want to let everyone know that I'm seeing beautiful pictures showing up on social media of copies of Scarred Lands, Dead Man's Rust showing up at people's houses. And I am thrilled and happy and overcome with joy about that. And would like to tell you that if you have not yet done so, if you missed the Kickstarter, you can now go to Drive-Thru RPG and pick up Dead Man's Rust, but you can also just go order it at your friendly local game store and they should be able to get a copy of it for you. So, support your local shop and get a copy of the awesomest adventure ever done for the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game ever. That's, I think, all the important things that I needed to say before we get into our intros. So without any further ado, let's have our cast introduce themselves. Let's start things off with the Will. Please tell us who you are, what you do, who you are playing, your pronouns, their pronouns, and anything you would care to promote.
Hello, I am the Will. That is important. So I am going to be playing Jason Smith, a name that I'm bad at naming things, so I chose the most generic name possible. Fitting, because he's the most generic person possible. I'm a they, them. He is a he, or a he, them. He is a he, him. I messed that up terribly. I'm sorry. Anyways.
All good. We got there eventually. That's what's important.
Yes. I don't exist online. However, I exist. However, if you want to see people who do force me to exist periodically, the Rolling Nomads force me to exist periodically. I won't be appearing in any of their stuff this month because the games I was a part of on their channels all ended just in time for the spooky month, which is kind of sad given that it was the vampire game that ended just in time for the spooky month.
Yeah, we'll have to give Gilbert some crap about that timing.
Yeah. So you can see them on Twitch at twitch.tv/the Rolling Nomads, or on Twitter at _the Rolling Nomads, or on YouTube at the Rolling Nomads channel.
Oh, I was muted. Awesome. And I am a fan of the Rolling Nomads, have been for quite some time, so I highly recommend everybody roll over and give them a follow if you've not yet done so. You can also catch them here on Sundays for Scion Godsend. Next up, Sasha, please give us your pertinent details.
Hi, I'm Sasha, she, they. I am your local internet gremlin. You can follow me at Hey, I'm Spidey on Twitter. I will be playing Margaret Stark, the single female lawyer who is in way over her head. She, her. I am she, they. Yeah, that's about it. As far as shout-outs go, I mean, trans rights or human rights, support your local charities.
That is both excellent points. Please follow those very simple instructions to make the world a better place in your proximity. And speaking of making the world a better place in our proximity, Kevin, please, your pertinence.
Oh, geez, that's flattering. Hi, I'm Kevin Zarnicki. I'll be playing Christian Donovan today. I am he, him, so is Christian. In terms of what I'm selling, just please be good to each other. Please keep wearing masks. Please keep getting boosters. And support independent gaming, by the way. which is funny because most of what I write is for Catalyst Game Labs, but support the indies. We need them.
I couldn't agree more. Yes, definitely am a fellow enthusiast of getting all of your shots all the time. Get some ones you might think you don't need. You probably need them. Double check with your doctor. Speaking of double checking with people, not only are they playing, but they're also handling tech for us today. James, please, your pertinence.
Hi, I am James. He. I will be playing Alo Keen. That did not come from me.
That was a well-timed air guitar, though.
It is very well timed.
Every time Arlo says Arlo's name now, it's just.
That's on you, the Will.
Yes, I need this.
You gotta make that happen now.
Oh no.
I'll break out the doom music. Don't tempt me. Arlo is a drug trafficker amongst many other things that they traffic. Basically, anything they'll do for money. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how well they integrate into some of the more goody two shoes characters.
I look forward to seeing a whole bunch of tension. But before we get into that tension, last but most certainly not least, I must introduce and welcome Mint. Please tell us your pertinence.
Yay, I get to be the last one. Let's go. Hi, everyone. My name is Mint, and tonight I will be playing Silas Cursed, a lovely alternative Thembo pastel goth artist. If you don't know what any of those words mean, well, you haven't been on the internet very long, have you? I go by any pronouns, he, she, they, she, whatever ones you want to go for, I'm totally fine with. Silas is referred to with they, them. And as far as things I want to plug, make sure you eat at least one vegetable today and make sure you drink water because we don't want you looking like a dehydrated sponge. Not good for the skin. And if possible, donate to your local food bank. And that's all I've got to plug for the start.
That is all wisdom. And I may have forgotten to mention, I'm Travis Legge, he, they, as it's National Coming Out Day, I was told. And I've been using they, he, they for a long time for my pronouns, but I officially announced on Twitter today that the Hitchhiker's Guide has updated my description. I am now listed as mostly cishet. And those of you who are coming out for anything today, we see you and welcome. And those of you who aren't comfortable for whatever reason, you're just as loved. Doesn't matter. At your speed, at your pace. Now that we have squeezed every last bit of positive sentiment out of this group, I want to touch base about one safety tool before we delve too deep into the story. If you caught us last week during session 0, we discussed yes goes and no goes, as I do on every stream. Our yes goes are body horror ×2 I have listed, so at least 2 people asked for that. Psychological horror, gore, and farm equipment horror. I promise you'll get all those. Our no-goes are essay, as it always is in the channel. We're going to fade to black any romantic interludes and no harm to kids and pets. I did want to make a clarifying, take this opportunity to make a clarifying question or pose a clarifying question. How does everyone feel about wild animals, and how does everyone feel about farm animals? There is some content in the story I'm running as written that may involve peril involving those things and possibly harm involving those things. So I wanted to check before we move forward with that. I'm happy to excise the content if anybody has farm animals or wild animals in their no-go list.
I fish and I eat beef, so you are clear for me.
If you're a farm animal, that's got, we said this in the pre-show, it's got an Area 51 appeal with aliens if it's farm animals, and if it's a wild animal, well, you take your chances, and that's just nature.
Fair enough.
Oh, the deer.
And this is as good a point as any to bring up that All of the yes goes, the no goes, the safety tools, these are all a framework for us to make sure we can all have a good, safe time. And they're all mutable, or I should say ultimately amendable. We can add things, we can clarify things. You can too, and you're employing them at your table. Just because you come up with a list of safety tools, something might come up later that you didn't think of that you need to add. Something might come up where you have a discussion as a group and say, oh, well, this sort of sounds like that, but it's not that, so we're okay with that. It's about communication. That's the point of the tools. So use them appropriately and have a lot of fun in the process. So now we're going to go ahead and dive into our tale, Fog over Lyndon Station. It is the year 2022. It is the world outside your window, pretty much. The shadows are a little deeper. The night maybe lasts a little longer. But for the most part, it's the world that you're familiar with. Each of you finds yourself in the proximity of a small little town in south central Wisconsin called Lyndon Station. It's a tiny town, population of a couple hundred people, largely made up of trailer park, a couple of bars, a restaurant, a church, and a truck stop. There are a few abandoned buildings as well, including a now disused train station. And there are exits onto and off of the interstate not far from Lyndon itself, about 8 miles to the south and about 7 miles to the north. The exit to the south is just off of a highway. You can ramp off and get onto the interstate. The exit to the north goes to the town of Mauston, Wisconsin, which is the county seat of Juneau County, which both towns are located in. Mauston has a population of about 5,000 people and is a little bit more, a little less village, a little more small town. Beyond that southern ramp is the city of Wisconsin Dells. Wisconsin Dells is a tourist trap, particularly in the summer months, as they have the world's largest water park and various other major attractions there. Ripley's Believe It or Not. There are some a bunch of Tommy Bartlett's Ski, Sky, and Stage shows draw people from around the world. So the population of the region swells by about 50,000 during the summer months. But with the advent of indoor water parks, that tourism has extended into even the autumn and winter. It is October 11th, a Tuesday. We'll start our tale with Margaret. Margaret, you have a client by the name of Jennifer Stone.
Jen, pleasure to meet you.
You are representing Jen you've been assigned to represent Jen, I should say, on a methamphetamines possessions charge. And this is not the first time that Jen has been through your office. She's been picked up for drunk and disorderly a couple of times and was once arrested for soliciting sex work.
Oh boy, so it's going to be a fun one today, so might as well get started.
You are at your office awaiting her arrival, and your assigned meeting time comes and goes. There is no sign of her. You've gotten no text message, no emails, no phone calls. She's due in court in an hour.
I'm going to give her a call then.
Right, you call her number and it goes directly to voicemail.
Huh. Now I'm feeling stood up. Do I have an address for this person, for Jennifer?
You do. She lives in Ham's Trailer Court at the very lip of Lyndon Station. It's about a 20-minute drive one way. So enough time to go and see if you can get a hold of her and still theoretically make it back to court.
I'm going to help myself to some white Zin before that, but I will absolutely go and pound on her door if need be, because look, you hired me. The state assigns me to you. I'm going to do my best, but you got to work with me.
Yeah, showing up to court is something that
That's
generally
pretty important. So white Zin and then go.
Beautiful. You have your wine and you hop in the car and head out that direction. By now it's about probably 12:15 as you pull up to the trailer park itself. It's an October weekday, so the area is fairly quiet. Any of the children that would normally be out and about are off at school. You see there's a couple of people just kind of hanging out, doing yard work or enjoying a relaxing drink on their stoop. When you make it your way to Jennifer's trailer, it looks like it's in some state of disrepair, but not like it's not severe. And it looks like it could use some TLC, but it's not like in a state of dangerous neglect, if that makes sense.
Has to be expected with someone with her charges, but
when you call out, there's no response.
I'm going to try the handle then.
You try the door handle and you can feel that the door is locked, but you also can feel that the door jamb is not firm. You're pretty sure that if you put any pressure on this door whatsoever, it's just going to pop open. It seems as though maybe it's been kicked in once or twice, or is just in such general disrepair that it's feeble and unable to withstand much pressure.
Not very strong, but if it's that feeble, I look around. Is anyone looking at me? I don't want to be caught breaking and entering.
No, nobody's paying any attention to you whatsoever. The only person who is in your line of sight right now is a guy pushing a very loud lawnmower and wearing like what looks like gun range headphones. They're like total noise cancelers.
All right, good. In that case, I think I'm just going to call out one more time. Jen, it's Margaret. We have like 40 minutes. You got to get to the courthouse. Are you in there? I'm coming in.
All right, you push on the door and you don't even need to roll. It clicks open. You can see that there are like holes in the paneling on the inside of the door where it looks like a 2x4 or some other piece of wood has been nailed over that door jamb multiple times. Not bullet holes, like nail holes. And you can see there's a piece of wood on the floor next to the door jamb that must have given way when you pushed the door open. You're immediately hit with several odors. There's definitely a need to change a litter box and do some laundry going on in here. And you get a hint of like burning plastic like old, like burnt plastic, I should say. Like, not that it's actively going right now, but something smells like burnt plastic to you. There's clutter, there's scatter. I wouldn't say that it's like hoarder state, but it's definitely not organized in any way, shape, or form. And from where you step in, you have a clear view towards both ends of the trailer. Her bedroom is at the back, the door hanging ajar. You don't see anything in there besides the foot of the bed.
I don't see her. Oh, can I walk back there and try and take a look out? I'm going to call her name again.
Sure. You walk back, take a look out. You see the bedroom is empty. I mean, empty of people. It's full of personal effects. It doesn't look like it's been, hastily moved out of or anything. But why don't you go ahead and while you're in there, just shoot me. Let's see here. Give me half a second while I bring up your character sheet. Why don't you shoot me an investigation roll? And I would let you go with wits, resolve, or composure, whichever one you choose.
Right, I'm going to do composure. Is there anywhere specific you'd like me to roll this, or just?
No, if you got physical dice, that's fine. If you have a dice generator, that's fine too.
Gotcha. Okay. Roll 60-10, yes?
Yes, and then you're looking for 8s or better.
Gotcha.
If you get any 10s, those are counted, and then you may roll them again.
Wow, I'm going to screenshot you this because I just rolled like 4 10s.
That's awesome. Re-roll them and keep them counting.
Okay. So roll 4 my dice then. I got 4 10s and a 3 and a 4. So re-roll those.
Yep, you re-roll the 4 10s.
A 9 and a 10.
All right.
So one more 10.
Re-roll that one.
And a 4.
Excellent. So you've acquired an exceptional success. As you're looking around, you notice a couple things right off the bat. There is a tripod about a foot away from the foot of the bed that is set up still and has a clip at the top of it that looks like it's the type that you'd use to hold a phone in place, but there's nothing in the clip. You see that there is a tablet. Looks like it slipped between the bed and the nightstand. Like maybe either she had left it on the pillow and it fell on its own, or she tossed it hastily, leaving, or something like that, but like an iPad.
I'm going to reach for that and try and swipe it open. Is there a password?
As you pick it up, you realize that, in fact, it hadn't even screen locked. It is open to the last website that she was on. Looks like it was some sort of a escort service site. And it looks like she was responding, like it's basically an exchange, her responding to a John at like 1 a.m. with the last message being that she's like, sure, I'll meet you at the truck stop.
Truck stop. Okay, just to be certain, because I saw the tripod, I'm going to go to her gallery and try and look to see if there's any recent videos, anything like that, just in case it got saved to the cloud or something.
There's no sort of like video calls between her and anyone. It's all performance video. It's just her in it.
Very well. Hit the home screen. That's her business.
Very good.
OnlyFans pays the bills, man.
Hey,
And
work is work.
Work is work. The world's oldest profession. I gotta respect the hustle. Just to be sure, I'm going to pull out my phone again, and I'm going to call her right here to see if the phone rings here.
Wonderful thinking, but it does not, in fact, ring.
Is there anything else I see as I'm going to just kind of take another quick look around before I head out and try and make it to the truck stop? Hopefully she's there, or maybe there's evidence of where she went. I might be in trouble.
Yeah, there's nothing there that nothing left in the trailer that really strikes you as being evidence. You, you know that right now she's not been missing for over 24 hours, and the judge is probably unlikely to be terribly thrilled with this as an excuse for not showing up to court. So you're making your way over to the truck stop.
To the truck stop, yes.
Excellent. Across town at the truck stop, Jason, you typically work the graveyard shift, correct?
Yeah, the shift that is conducive to my people.
Excellent. Your first shift replacement didn't come in today.
There's labor shortage, man.
So you are now at about hour 13 of your shift. When woman walks in, Margaret, please go ahead and describe for me what Jason sees.
I am 5'5", carrying a Starbucks that I absolutely have just had since the morning, and have been sipping on it for the past 4 hours. I am blonde hair going about to my shoulder length, kind of curly, bright blue eyes, makeup that probably got done in about 10 minutes before work, maybe possibly in the car. So there's smudging here and there, but she's rocking it. It's fine. It's fine. Otherwise, yeah, she's a 5'5" dynamo of working class woman. She looks like she's wearing like basically what I'm wearing, which is like a gray kind of suit, cream blazer, little skirt going on, plaid skirt, and little pumps, respectable black pumps, just a little bit of a heel to them.
If you had to describe her demeanor in one word, what would that word be?
Increasingly desperate.
All right. And Jason, if you could please describe what Margaret sees behind the gas station counter.
A man whose eyes are dead because he's just worked a 13-hour shift. Think the most generic looking white guy you can think of. The suit's taught him to do that. He doesn't know how to stop it. He's wearing the company uniform. He barely seems to acknowledge anything around him at this point. He's hit that second wind where you're just, yes, okay, just doesn't even really seem to acknowledge you. However, yeah,
Yeah, you recognize the stare of someone who's put in already far too many hours today.
Excellent. That means you were probably here. So I'm gonna scramble up to the front desk. Hi. I'm looking for someone. Have you seen someone in the past however long you've been working here? Like today? Tonight?
Could you be more specific, ma'am? This is a truck stop. There are a lot of people who come through here.
And I describe what Jen looks like. I assume since I've represented her before, I know what she looks like. What does she look like?
Yeah, there's a non-0% chance you have a photo of her in your phone. Or like, you probably pull it up from her file. You probably can pull up a mugshot.
She looks like this.
At the very worst, you could pull up her OnlyFans.
I mean, that's valid too.
You see a lot of her then.
Probably not what you'd recognize at a gas station, I would imagine. But
We don't
as
go
you're
to the same
looking,
gas station.
You never know. You never know.
I have stories from when I worked third shift at the gas station, but I digress. As you're looking at this photo, Jason, you do recognize her for two reasons. One, she's somewhat regular, usually comes in, picks up painkillers, prophylactics, and energy drinks. That's her normal purchase. And she was in here last night, and part of what sticks in your mind about the fact that she was in here last night is once in a while on third shift, a fog will roll in through the town. And as that fog rolls in, the truck stop goes dead. Nobody goes in or out. The truckers that are parked outside unerringly stay in their vehicles. It's a nice, quiet, private time. But she was inside making a purchase literal minutes before the fog rolled in. And she was the last customer you saw before it happened.
She came in right before the fog last night.
Did she?
Yeah.
Did you see where she went?
Out into the fog.
That doesn't help narrow it down for me.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't know what to tell you. She left right as the fog was rolling in.
I'm gonna look around real quick. Are there security cams?
Yes, there are security cameras.
So those aren't for show.
Do you have the backed up footage of that? Maybe?
Look around. How many people are in the store that are going to need servicing soon?
Oh, there's nobody in the store right now.
Cool. I can actually do it. Yeah, sure, ma'am. Come this way.
Great. And then I'm
mild
gonna
zombie
follow,
Right.
kind of like right on your heels, clearly more eager than the 13-hour shift. Possibly has the energy for.
Excellent. And you cross the threshold of the manager's office to review that security footage at exactly 12:34 p.m. I will get back to you. Christian, what has brought you to the region? Why are you in or near Lyndon Station today?
Lyndon Station is the kind of one-horse town you expect to only have one diner. The kind of place that serves chicken fried steak as special. The kind of place you'd only come to if you were delivering heroin. Or whatever the hell's in my trunk. It's not my job to ask. Just my job to keep moving. Get enough money to keep moving.
I love it. You're pulled over and parked on the side of the road, about a block and a half away from the cardboard cop that's on the main highway that runs through town, at a restaurant called Grandma's. Serves beautiful greasy spoon Americana diner food.
Chicken fried steak.
Chicken fried steak, absolutely. Looks like it was built out of reclaimed wood a century ago. Like it's got a very sort of like folksy, repurposed and sort of maintained but not rebuilt vibe to it. You know,
Some
it's-
places survive. This place has endured.
Exactly.
I'm not going to do this with him the whole time. I promise.
Hey,
Keep it going. Keep it going.
Keep it up. I want to see how long you
I'm
can go.
excited.
The waitress, redhead, looks like she's probably in her early 60s. Just comes over, kind of snapping her gum. We're all out of hash browns, but we can do fries or salad if you want. The special is the fish and chips, and the soup is vegetable, beef, and French onion. What can I get you?
Yeah, soup sounds fine. And a lot of coffee.
Can do. Want me to bring you a carafe?
That's what I'm looking for.
I got you, hon. She steps away, and you hear the bell ring as she hangs up a physical manual ticket on a spinning rack that has little clamps on it.
All the comforts of home, the home you never had.
As she approaches back with the carafe of coffee and it starts pouring into your cup, you catch something out past her out of the window. Why don't you go ahead and give me let's do composure or wits and occult. If you do not have occult, you are unskilled. If you are unskilled, you're -3 dice.
I have 2 in occult. So
Excellent.
that is 5 dice, however you slice it. I got a single 9.
Excellent. So you see movement out of the window more than anything specific. Someone definitely looks person-sized and shaped. Has stepped across the window, but when they do, the motion looks off, almost as if the window is a TV set that's skipping frames as they walk past.
Squeeze my eyes shut. It's been a long drive and a long night. Look again.
Nothing. She sets the carafe down. Your food will be up in about 10, sweetie.
You mind if I smoke?
No smoking inside, unfortunately. You can thank the governor for that.
Can't tell state to state anymore.
Are you going to step outside to smoke, or are you going to just hold off on the smoking?
Oh, I'll hold off. They're all cigars anyway.
Nice.
I'm not compelled.
As you're sitting there, you see the clock switch over to 12:33 on the wall. And you feel this almost like the anxiety of waking up from a nightmare where you're naked in front of your classmates at school, coupled with the sensation that you are certain you have left the stove on, coupled with like the ennui of the sudden realization of a loved one who has passed on that you'll never be able to tell an intimate secret to. All these emotions sort of just click in you all at once with no apparent cause or origin. And you hear a squeak behind you.
Press
Like
my
flesh.
hand down to where my gun is usually.
It's like flesh on leather or a plastic equivalent thereof. like someone sitting down in a restaurant booth. No
Yeah,
one has
does-
entered.
You had to describe it in the most disturbing way possible.
I try. No, you did not see anyone walk inside. Are you going to turn?
Is this the kind of place that's got, mirrors every here and there so you can see people coming?
There is like one of those right by the door, basically to ostensibly prevent dine and dashes.
I'm gonna glance up I assume it's one of those fish eyes.
It
see
is.
around yeah. I'm gonna
Uh,
glance up at that, see if I can get a look around.
That doesn't make your situation any better. As you look over and you see this very distorted face of a woman, looks like it's very difficult to place her age, as it seems as though the flesh on the left side of her face has been peeled over and stapled to the right side of her face. The inside of the eyelid is sewn shut, that you can see on the side of the face that's been folded to expose the flensed flesh.
How far away are they from me?
They're in the booth behind you,
Back to back or facing me?
facing you.
Super. I know this. You know this. Christian doesn't know this yet. I'm going to do the thing he does when he's reflexively nervous and
Okay.
breathe very deeply,
Excellent.
which activates my quality.
Yes. And what is the system list under that quality? Just a quick note for those of you watching at home, and again, to reiterate to the players, this is a Contagion Chronicle campaign. As of right now, everyone is mostly human, but things might change throughout the course of that, and all bets are off, everything's on the table. So having said that, as a storyteller who is still passingly familiar with Chronicles of Darkness rules, I may pause to ask some folks to clarify their systems or dig something up in a book. I just want to make sure that we're giving everybody a fair shake and that we're accurately representing the system. Fair enough?
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
cool with that? Right.
Oh yeah. And here you don't play Chronicles to win,
It's fine.
I didn't roll any hits anyway, so but for the record, it would be intelligence plus occult plus my nature.
Excellent.
Minus or versus, hard to tell. They're resolve dots, which I don't know. But
Okay.
I didn't roll any hits anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It would generally be minus their resolve dots. If it's just one trait, it's minus. It's a penalty.
Cool.
So not only does this not seem to have any perceivable effect on the reflection that you're gazing at, but as you open yourself up in that fashion, you feel a sudden stab of pain. It's as if someone took a bread twist tie and heated just the middle metal string in it and just slowly drove it into your right tear duct and pulled it out through your left.
Metaphorically or literally?
It literally feels like that just happened to you.
Well, I'd scream if that happened. So
You let out a scream as the clock strikes 12:34. I'll get back to you in a minute. That will bring us to Arlo. Arlo, what are you doing noon on a Tuesday?
They are probably. Is it still late at night or early?
Noon.
Noon. Okay.
Noon. If
they're
you would like
prob-
to pick up the night before and talk me through what happened to lead you there, that's fine too.
Well, they probably would have came in last night. They've come up here to kind of lay low for a little bit. Down in the south, they might have gotten into a little bit too much trouble, and they need to find a new means of transportation, as their vehicle may or may not be compromised.
That's fair.
They are basically currently driving a Studebaker that they stole off the side of the road.
Excellent. And you're crashing at a safe house, correct? Or were you staying at a hotel?
Safe house.
Excellent. You've been through this way a couple times before, and you know that the nights can sometimes get pretty foggy. You noticed the strangest thing as you came into town last night under the cover of fog, that it almost like parted in front of your car on the way in. It seemed as though the fog itself just like you were piercing it, like it was welcoming you to this home for forever. It was a very inviting sensation, if a little creepy, I suppose. So once you arrive at the safe house, what all would you do to establish your lay low? Is there anything that you would like to do to or in the safe house to safeten it up a little bit?
Considering it's, kind of out in the woods, just like someone found a plot of land and plopped a trailer on it, they normally feel relatively safe. The first thing they would check is, signs of recent use, see if there's been comings and goings a lot lately. So they'd look for is the grass around it covered with recent muddy tire tracks and stuff like that? If not, then they're not going to worry. But if there's a bunch of tire tracks around, they're going to make sure to button it up a little bit. All the windows and doors are going to be locked. They'll probably put some kind of cover over anything, glass windows and stuff that are all probably broken anyway. But, just basically trying to make it a little bit safer. You are muted, Charles.
Sorry about that. Why don't you go ahead and give me I'll give you your choice of survival or weaponry and intelligence to sort of just not only set this place up, but reinforce, perhaps even set makeshift alarms or booby traps if you wanted to.
Can I make an argument for wits instead of intelligence? As it's less like he's actively thinking about it and more stuff that was drilled into him by his military father.
Sure, I'll allow it. Why not? I'm nothing if not a generous divinity, so by all means, roll.
It's the difference between having at least one dice or having no dice.
Gotcha.
Because I have a -1 either way.
So if it reduces your dice, if it reduces your dice pool below 1, you can still roll a chance die.
Well, this way I have 2.
Okay, gotcha.
I'll have a couple of dice at least. 2. That is 0 successes.
Excellent. I mean, you've kind of run through the steps almost more instinctively, using muscle memory than any actual skill per se. Mm-hmm. So you're fairly confident that stuff is as secure as it's going to get. That doesn't necessarily make it so.
Yes.
But when you return, you wake up in the morning, go around and sort of check your work. And as you return back into the safe house to ensure that everything is still fine and to go about the day, the sorting out of the plan, you step on the porch and immediately hear a sound, a sucking sound, from inside.
Can I? Oh, that's a hard one. Can I roll a wits crafts maybe to see if I can recognize it as something mechanical or broken?
You can roll wits and crafts. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Because that would be the first thought, is not, immediately spooky, but that is actually 3 successes. So
you are 100% sure that is not a sound made by a machine. That sounds very organic. You, in fact, even since you got 3 successes, you can hear a wheeze to it.
And there was not something in here last night when I was there,
That is correct, yes.
as far as I know.
As far as you checked, you didn't find anything.
They would go grab something out of the duffel bag they keep with them everywhere, and that something is a double barrel shotgun.
Okay.
And they're going to investigate it.
Excellent. You open the door, shotgun in hand, and see a man sitting in the recliner in the safe house.
There
He
is
looks-
no hesitation. He just because
Okay.
there was no one here last night.
Excellent. Go ahead and give me a firearms and dexterity roll, please. You'll be minus nothing because he's sitting duck.
That is 3.
Excellent. You and remember that's a shotgun. I believe you get 9 again on that, and possibly 8 again as well.
Let me double check. That's the Contagion Chronicle book. I need to be in the Chronicles of Darkness section. I always forgot to actually jot down stats for weapons.
That's the book I forgot to open too, the core book. There we go. Pardon me while I dig through this rule set for a moment.
I got shotgun stats here. What you need?
Thank you. They're again property.
Again, bro.
Do they have 9 again or 8 again?
I don't see anything about that.
Oh, okay. Then I guess it's just 3 successes. No worries. I might have rolled knowledge wrong edition.
Mind you, it's a shotgun, not a double barrel. So I assume we just modify the ammo.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think it'll have any that big of an effect on it. But you let go. You put both barrels straight to the chest. You realize as the man starts to twitch and parts of his internal organs start to leak out of his torso, not only in the holes that you've just put in it with the shotgun, but also in the large weeping wound that was in his left side between his ribs that appears to still be whistling when he breathes. And he looks up at you and he smiles and says, how I wish that helped.
To quote a line from my favorite movie, what the hell are you?
I'm a friend looking for a friend. He stands up and you hear a crack when he does, as what was left of his spine wasn't quite up to the task of holding the rest of his body into place. And his torso sort of, without breaking any more skin than is already broken, slides forward and falls down in front of his legs. And he just kind of looks around and says, that's going to make things really complicated. And as he does that, the clock strikes 12:34 and I'll get back to you. Silas. Tuesday noon, what you doing?
The amount of fear I have to answer this question. I would assume the previous day, like Silas has been in the area a couple days at least, and the previous day they were with their brother at the nearby town with the water parks, just, catching up, spending time together, reconnecting, the whole 9 yards. And today they're trying to prepare for the high school reunion. That's one of the reasons that they're here. And they're looking at the mirror and just thinking, I never want to be here a fucking again. This is it. Middle of nowhere. I get 3 bars of reception. And I've already dropped 2 canvases into puddles on the road. and they're just getting ready for the day. They were kind of going to take the day to explore the area, reconnect with the home base. Like, oh yeah, I grew up here. Oh yeah, nothing's changed.
Now, was your brother living in Lyndon Station proper?
Their brother kind of lives like right at the edge of it.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like right at the edge where it's just like, hey, here's the last stop before you hit no man's land with the roads.
All right, excellent. So as you're getting ready and you've sort of got your look together for the day, got a basic sort of at least direction that you intend to stumble in, if not a plan. And you make your way out toward your vehicle. And as you do, in the distance, you see a deer. Rather large, rather majestic deer. Seems to have this just wide, huge, several point antlers. And you can clearly see that one of them has been shorn off somehow, like one of the antler tips, whether it be shot off by a hunter or ripped off in some sort of natural occurrence. Either way, it's missing part of its antlers. And for a moment, it just looks like a normal deer. Is this something that's liable to hold your attention, or is this something that you're liable to just sort of wander on past? It is a beautiful animal.
They'll kind of take a look at it, and if it were just a normal deer, they would, but they kind of catch sight of like that broken like set of antlers and the asymmetry it makes.
Do you have any occult?
That is a good question. No, we do not.
Excellent. Go ahead and give me an intelligence roll at a -3. That may give you just a chance die, which is fine.
Yeah, that's just a chance die. But that is a 9.
Excellent. Not quite enough to be a success, but you don't have a dramatic failure unless you choose to do so to take a beat. And nothing particularly unusual. No memories are triggered by seeing this. Nothing particular springs to mind, but you do find yourself a bit entranced in its beauty. There's something about this deer that seems almost too beautiful for its surroundings. Almost like it's kind of a pristine piece of canvas that's been surrounded by a paint spill. And yet it awakens a feeling of unease in you as you realize just how ugly the surroundings are. The colors you would expect to see of early autumn, the sort of rainbow of beauty in the trees, has been replaced by just dead browns and grays. It's as if this place either skipped the best part of the season or someone turned the saturation down on your eyes. As everything is just sort of devoid of texture and color but this deer.
And that annoys them to no end. And they're thinking about all of their supplies that they brought with them, like just, sure, they're here for a couple reasons, but when inspiration strikes, it strikes. And how they've already lost 2 canvases, and now they're here in this brown and gray diarrhea shithole of a color scheme. And they'll take out a little pocketbook and they carry like a pencil. It's just nothing special, but sometimes the best stuff comes through the basic stuff, and they'll just stay as still as possible and they start trying to sketch this thing because, god damn it, if something's going to have the audacity to both be beautiful and haunting, it will be captured.
Excellent. Why don't you go ahead and give me a crafts and what would you like to rely on? Would you like to rely on like a dexterity here? Would you like to rely on wits to catch it quickly? Would you like to rely on composure to sort of keep your cool while it's standing there? Right now, it's not moving or anything. It's just sort of standing like a silent sentinel.
I would like to see if I could do composure, because Silas is of the mind of, if they get too carried away and try and put too much of a spin on this when it already has enough effect in its own objectiveness, then they're going to ruin it if they get too carried away. So they're going to try and keep calm and sketch as much as they can.
Beautiful. Go ahead and give me that roll.
All right. So this is sadly not painting, so that doesn't apply. So we got 6 to work with here. And let's see what we get. Its base difficulty is, what was it again?
Your target number is always 8.
Okay, yeah. That's no successes.
Excellent. You're drawing this picture and you're capturing it perfectly. It's as if you have snapped a photograph of this and just placed it gently on your sketchbook. At least that's how it feels at 12:33. The clock strikes 12:34. You have been looking directly at your subject now for longer. You don't remember the last time you glanced down at the drawing. This disturbs you a bit, and you look. Your perfect rendition of this creature is no longer on the page. As you realize that there's a reddish tint to the graphite that you've been drawing with. And you look down, and for just a brief moment, your fingers appear to be all split at the end, like a hot dog that's been cooked too long. And the bone shards that stick out of those tips each appear to be filled with some sort of a capsule. And at the end of that capsule is a sharpened tip that is dripping. The drip is a mixture of graphite and blood. The drawing itself. Oh, go ahead.
And continue.
The drawing itself is now text. It says, "We are all damned. It's too late. Accept what is to come." And as soon as you read that, you hear a loud, like mind-numbingly earth-shattering. You see it rattles the glass, like the windows of your car. Trumpet.
I'm going to do something. I would like to make use of a merit, tolerance for biology. And is it painful, or is it just like, oh, this has happened, but I'm not feeling it kind of situation?
When you look at it, it's excruciatingly painful. It's kind of like the idea of like, I didn't notice I had cut myself until I looked down, and then, and you like instinctively and reflexively reach up for it. And when you do, it's fine. As that trumpet blares, you can see a fog that just wasn't there a moment ago, rolling in quickly, violently, consume the subject that had you so enraptured, and roll out over the property where you stand. What would you like to do as this fog is rolling in?
We're going to flex that 1 dot of intelligence. And sure, this fog is concerning. So is that trumpet. But you know what? there is something that Silas hates a lot. And, well, two things. First is when they fuck something up with their art, and that just happened, apparently. And the second is being told things. Being told this is inevitable, this will be, that will be, you are damned because we said so. And is that writing still on the paper?
No, as you look back down, it's now almost like it's the drawing that you made, but it's as if somehow you had badly smeared the graphite. The outlines are all there, but it's now a puddle of grays.
They're going to take the paper, crumple it up, and they'll eat it. And just look around, just after a moment, chew, swallow.
All right.
Your turn, eat me. And then they'll get in the truck.
Excellent. You're going to try to navigate through this fog?
Very, very slowly.
Excellent. You turn on the high beams and very slowly start to crawl out of the driveway. You're not going to let a little bit of strangeness get in the way of your good time.
I work in the strange. This is nothing.
Excellent. I love how confident you are with that. I'll get back to you momentarily as you get onto the road. Going back to the gas station, as Margaret and Jason step into the office, you hear a very loud trumpet blare. It's enough to cause a moment of physical discomfort. And you both clock that there is a band of like broadcast static that moves along the security camera monitors as you step into the room as well. Gone as quickly as the horn ends.
So you heard that, right? You heard that too. I'm not crazy. You heard a trumpet too.
Looks over to you, yeah, it's probably one of the truckers.
That makes sense.
There's
Yes.
probably some of them have loud horns. I don't know, man.
You hop in and click on the recording. You start scrolling through, going back to that time of day. As you start scrolling back through the footage, you see not only her enter the gas station, but it's as if she's being followed or her mimicked even by a series of what looked to be echo images or some sort of digital distortion. Why don't each of you go ahead and give me just a straight up investigation or computer with intelligence roll, please.
I'll do computer.
Investigation and intelligence. That gives me 6 dice. Only 110. I'm going to re-roll that. A 3, so only 1 success.
Excellent. With 1 success, you are definitely certain that some of those shadow images that are showing up are not Jen. Those are other folks.
Looks like Jason got 3 successes.
Yes, and with the 3 successes, you can clearly tell. You recognize at least 5 of these people that are showing up in like this echo. And you immediately realize that they're all people who, with the exception of the one who you saw last night, who have gone missing from the region in the last 8-9 months.
Okay. These, You just,
It's just a computer distortion, ma'am. I'm sure it's nothing.
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about her being followed by someone.
It's just a computer. It's overlaying old video. She
You
just
go-
happened to take the exact same path as these people.
So
I'm
you
sure
didn't
it's
see
fine.
anyone in here with her last night?
Ma'am, I've got a pretty good memory that she was alone last night.
You switch back to the live feed, and all the cameras are just gray.
See, look, we're having major technical difficulties right now, clearly.
I
I don't-
can't believe this truck stop in the middle of fucking nowhere, Wisconsin, has terrible video surveillance system.
I know I keep telling them they need to upgrade, and I also keep telling them I need a raise, but neither has happened.
Hey, listen, if they're not treating you right, maybe you could listen. My name is Margaret Stark. I'm an attorney
I'm
at
not
law.
going to sue them. I'm not going to sue them, ma'am.
Just give it a thought. Just a thought. Hey,
I
get some
don't
money,
need it. I don't
some
need
real
law
money
stuff.
this way. Well, do you have any cameras that were maybe pointed outside that can maybe show where she went?
She left during the fog. If they were pointed outside, you would see nothing but fog. I'm going to pull up those.
You realize that nothing but fog looks exactly like the gray that you're currently seeing out the windows right now.
Ma'am, it appears we have fog in the store. I'm going to need you to stay here while I go and get a fan.
Huh?
Clearly a door has been left open.
Let me clarify. All of the internal cameras are showing you the inside of the store like normal.
Okay.
Okay, so
I
the
don't have to do
externals are-
work.
The lot cameras are all gray.
Oh, that's weird. It's never come in the daytime before. Maybe it has. Is this normal? I don't know. I'm asleep usually around now.
I have already left and I'm going to the front of the store.
I'm obligated to warn you about the hazardous weather conditions.
Are
I
you
have to find my clients
going to
out
leave?
there.
Are you going to open the door as you're talking, or are you staying inside?
I'm walking to the door. I'm thinking about picking up a Red Bull before I go because I might need it at this point.
You and me both.
I'll buy you one. Do you want me to buy you one?
You do not have to do that, ma'am.
You look like you really need it.
I am heavily encouraged not to solicit goods from customers.
That's kind of fucked up. I'm going to leave this business card for you on you right in front of you, just in case. Just in case.
Thank you, ma'am.
You leave your business card, make your payment, and make your way toward the door.
Yeah.
Notably not going to steal her payment info because she was nice.
Very good.
She is using cash.
Cool.
Very good. As you go to open the door, there's resistance. Like this fog is physically pressing against the door. If you'd like, you can make a strength and athletics roll.
That is one dot. One die.
And
I'm going to-
don't forget your -1 for physical skills that are unskilled if you don't have dots in athletics.
So
So it would
it's
be
a
a chance die. Yes.
So there's
It's just like a regular die, but if you fail bad, you fail bad.
It's like pushing your luck in Call of Cthulhu. If you do it, really bad things can happen to you. Even if you succeed, bad things can happen to you, just not quite as bad.
I'm sorry, the implication there's luck in a Call of Cthulhu game is just beyond me.
It's true. Yeah, that's an uncommon beast.
I'm going to put both arms on it, brace myself, and start pushing. Roll. One chance die. Let's see what happens.
You got this. That face makes me think you don't have this.
Got a 1. Excellent. You have a dramatic failure. I love it.
But you get a beat though, right?
You do get a beat.
Your consolation prize is if you survived, you learned from fucking up that badly.
And the door gives. From your perspective, Jason, the lawyer took one step into the fog and literally disappeared directly in front of your eyes. Not was enveloped by fog or, stepped into the fog, like disappeared, just out of your vision.
Oh boy, I'm scared to ask what I see from my perspective.
We'll get there.
I'm trying to determine how mentally impaired I am and whether or not my survival instinct is going to tell me not to do this. So
think 18 hours into a fire guard or CQ shift.
I'm mentally impaired enough to make this mistake. The dice have spoken, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of
and follow along.
Yeah, just kind of like I'm going to assume my brain skipped a second or something, and she just tripped.
Excellent.
So I'm going to be like, "Ma'am, you okay?"
You go up to investigate. As you step forward, Margaret, you are standing in your dorm room. It's empty besides you and your and all of the personal effects of yourself and any roommate you might have had while you were in college.
My Ramones poster is there?
Yes, your Ramones poster is there. It's as if you never left. You're dressed the same, you look the same, but you're standing in your dorm room. And as you kind of take this in, you start to hear like a meaty rhythmic thump coming from the hallway, as if someone was dropping a bucket of hamburger every 5 feet. Coming
That's a
closer
tasty
to you.
descriptor.
And it's definitely getting closer to the door.
It could be worse. It could be coming from the room next to you.
I'm going to do this.
Excellent.
Wake up. Wake up. This is real. Wake up.
The door handle starts to jiggle.
I am going to try and press against it and try and hold it back.
Excellent.
I'm not strong at all.
You push on the door, giving all of your weight into it because
160 pounds of me.
Your might isn't doing anything about it. So really just sort of leaning on the back of that door. And the rattling becomes a little more intense and then a little more intense. And then the door itself starts to shake and then it stops. Dead silence. You start to hear a familiar tinkling sound, like a music box maybe, and you can't place the melody. It's something that you've heard somewhere before. It's on the tip of your tongue, but you're not sure what it is, and it's coming from right outside the door from the sound of it.
I don't want to open that door. Every single cell in my body is screaming at me to not open that door.
You don't have to open the door. You can certainly, there's a bed to sit on, there's a chair, there's a television. Your old PlayStation is there, a Ramones poster.
My Ramones poster, my source of strength.
Are you going to take Touchstone Ramones poster?
I will. Don't press me. I will.
For a second, you think that the music box is playing Pet Sematary, but then you realize it's not.
Double entendre.
I am going to turn, take several deep, centering, meditative breaths like my therapist told me to. And I'm going to slowly crack the door open a bit.
Excellent. You crack the door open a bit and you see the inside of a restaurant, familiar restaurant. You've had coffee here with a client before. You see the inside of Grandma's. You're standing in the ladies' room.
I don't I like live here, like upstairs.
No, not like. Do you
No,
live upstairs from the
I
restaurant? Is
live
that what-
above. I thought we agreed that I lived upstairs.
Yeah, then
of
you're
Grandma's.
downstairs. Yeah, you're downstairs from your apartment. You're basically at home. That's odd, of course.
Very.
The other thing that's odd is that as soon as you step out of the ladies' room, the clerk from the truck stop that you know is about 4 miles away steps in through the front door. And while both of those things are incredibly unusual, even more so is the woman with her face stapled across itself, who's currently standing up from a booth and moving in such a way like her limbs are not entirely under her control, as if every movement is sort of a resistance against some sort of force that's pulling on her. And she's standing up, staring at this fellow who you've never seen before. And she looks directly at Christian with an empty eye socket that starts spewing forth maggots on a sea of what looks like partially digested fat.
You hear me scream. By the way, I am screaming bloody murder right now.
That's two of us now. I've still got like cocaine sinus eyes, you know. I'm just,
Why are you screaming?
this is turning into a Don Hertzfeld cartoon. I just want
And what is Jason saying?
Just why is everybody screaming? I'm not sure that this is real at this point. I'm clearly entered the point of daydreaming, so it's like
At that exact
night shift gas station. That's not an unreasonable assumption,
Right?
yeah,
like
Yeah,
by
it's-
far for you,
This
for
is-
anybody, but especially
this-
for you.
yeah.
at this point, in addition to the screaming, you all hear a crash. Could you roll? Just go ahead and roll your stamina for me, if you don't mind, Silas.
Which is actually not that bad, but dice make me scared.
It'll be fine.
right.
Don't worry about it.
Stamina.
The dice gods are the most benevolent of deities.
It's all right.
We got 2 successes, and one of them is a 10.
See, I stole all your bad luck for you.
You're welcome to re-roll that 10 if you haven't already, to see if you generate more successes.
Yep, that's another success. So 3 total.
Excellent. The good news is that your seatbelt and airbags work exactly as intended. The bad news is you are moving along through this fog at a slow pace. You're trying to be good and careful. Probably not cracking 20.
15 if we're lucky. Just
But yet you see nothing ahead of you and then suddenly run into a building. All of you who are inside screaming here are interrupted by a crash.
Oh, my screaming is not interrupted. that's still ongoing. Let's make that clear.
Does the crash make the headache stop?
That sensation was merely was over as soon as it started, pretty much. Like it was just that for that process. You're talking about the feeling of having the wire driven through you.
Yes,
It just
that one.
happened and then passed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like stuck in there. If
All right, so I'm gonna leave the screaming people because screaming people. Clearly somebody has crashed. I'm gonna attempt to make my way to that person.
Sure, you turn and it's as if the fog is cleared just at the line of the sidewalk out front of this restaurant. Almost like it's a solid wall almost at the curb with a few sort of wisps that reach inside a few inches, but you have a clear path directly to the driver's side of this car, where you see Silas like pushing down an airbag. So if you would please explain what Jason sees, Silas.
Airbag is sufficiently fought off. It's kind of like a dichotomy in this kind of black, purple, pink, and a little bit of red, like flannel and lace shirt and matching skirt, and some knee-high kind of combat boots is a. Do they have enough dots to justify that description? No. About 5'10", 11, not bodybuilder, but relatively athletic looking masculine individual. Just face too professional practice to call it a cosplay for Halloween. Not clean enough or popular enough to call it makeup artist. Just something out there. Just fighting an airbag. Some bruises, I would assume, but nothing
major. Remarkably, you're almost supernaturally unharmed. You would expect a sore nose, you would expect a bruise, you'd expect scratches, but as you're pushing down this airbag, you realize you have no pain whatsoever. Could be shock, but you're not in any pain.
Okay. And they're like slowly moving all the limbs to make sure nothing snapped, broken, anything.
Just comes up to your window, rap, tap, tap.
I would assume
you
the window's
okay?
broken.
Depends on how you crashed.
Yeah, the window is probably not broken because you ran headlong. Despite the fact that the street runs like north and south, you ran headlong coming from the west, which isn't even the direction you were driving from.
Yeah, and cars are designed to crumple in the front and back, so.
Yeah, so your windows are fine.
Yeah.
And in fact, the damage isn't that severe. You're only going 15 miles an hour when you hit a brick wall.
Yeah, probably just need to get a new bumper and probably replace your headlights.
It was probably precisely a strong enough impact to trigger your airbag, which you can do with a baseball bat and a good bit of determination.
Yeah.
You can do it with a good solid thump if you hit it in the right place.
Yeah, you know where the sensors are.
They'll just slowly open the door.
Backs up.
And while you're opening this door and this is unfolding inside, as the two of you are screaming, the woman is trying to speak. Are either of you able to contain yourselves? Why don't you both roll resolve composure to see if you can pull your shit together enough to hear what she's saying.
I love it.
2 successes.
Excellent. You're able to to hold in the scream once you realize she's speaking.
That's fine. I've drawn my gun, which anybody observing, this is not a smooth practice motion. This is absolutely amateur hour.
Is this real quick? Is you said 8 and up?
Yeah. 8 and up.
Is a
Are you
success?
targeting?
8, 9, 10.
Just one success then.
Excellent. 1 is all you need to pull it together enough to hear what she says. And she says, "We have to get out of here. We're trapped in here with them, all of them." And that, I think, is where we'll take our 5 minutes for biological and technological needs.
Nice.
Spooky.
Commercial break.
We will be back momentarily.
We'll be back after these messages from our sponsors.
Are you spewing Mac?
Sure.
Wasn't as dynamic, but I
You're
got
live
it.
again, Byron.
Excellent. We have returned. Welcome back, everybody. Woohoo! So we have just finished our biological and technological break. When last we were here, everyone but Arlo had made their way to Grandma's. So we're going to focus our attention over to Arlo for just a moment. Arlo, this gentleman is standing in front of you, staring you directly in the waist.
They were kind of like yelling or screaming or something when we cut.
Yes, they seem to be in a lot of pain. And they say, "Who are you? How did you get here?"
I drove here from Louisiana.
Drove here. No, you simple being. How did you wind up here?
Here.
You have no concept of what's happening, do you? Wonderful. He starts to like
Why do you think
try
I
to walk,
shot you in the chest?
and he can't really walk, so he starts to lean forward on his arms and like pull himself toward you.
Do you want me to like try and put you back together?
What I want you to do is break the seal so we can all go.
Break what seal? Is it like a wheel bearing seal, a head gasket seal?
Oh, he came in and he wasn't supposed to be here. No, nobody that I'd never seen anyone so broken. Never seen anyone so broken. And I've been there for a long time. So I'd forgotten who I still, we'll figure that out later. Well, he showed up and everything went wrong. The sins couldn't find him, and he was too broken to be in that hole with the rest of us. And so he fell back out. And when he did, we all fell with him.
You are speaking gibberish to me. I don't know what hole you're talking about, or...
Why are you here? What did you do? He starts coming like even closer, like almost you can feel his breath on your exposed leg hair.
Arlo's gonna side shuffle because they don't want to go back outside because they don't know what's out there and there might be zombies or something. He doesn't fucking know.
Don't you understand where you are? And as he's yelling and walking,
I'm in Lyndon Station, Minnesota, or
As
Wisconsin.
as he's moving, you hear knuckles start to crack, and then the bones in the hands start to break, piercing through the flesh as he's rapidly pulling himself toward you. Are you going to hold your ground or back away?
I'm gonna level the other barrel of my shotgun at his face.
Excellent.
And hope that he stops.
He lunges forward, mouth wide open toward you. Why don't you roll a d10 at your initiative modifier real quick?
Okay. First combat of the game, session 1.
And you're all alone.
Get it.
With my initiative modifier, that is a 7.
Excellent. He will be going on a 16. He's gonna barrel you down, nudging the shotgun to the side with his nose and bite you like right on the spot of your belly that's like between your belly button and your unmentionables, like that little like nubbin of flesh lump. He's going to try to turn into his next meal.
Betrayal.
What is your
Going
defense?
right for the treasure trail.
Their defense is 6,
Oh, beautiful.
and I have a lot of health.
Come in handy. As they bite at you, you are able to either step back or step to the side to avoid being bit. What would you like to do?
Step back.
Right, you do so, and you definitely avoid being bitten. You do feel the wood of the door on your back. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go with plan A and blast the zombie in the face.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll.
Dex
His
5
defense
on
is 5, yes.
and defense subtracts from the roll.
Yes, because you're in melee range, otherwise it wouldn't.
Okay, so I would end up at a 0 for combat. Is
So-
that any different?
Are you including your bonuses from the shotgun?
Oh no, I'm not, because I forgot to grab what book and what page were you on for the shotgun stats, Kevin?
It was on Hurt Locker, right? What page? Otherwise, I can search for shotgun in
Yeah.
here.
I wasn't able to find it in the normal book, or in the core book. So if it's in a different book, I need to know so I can actually put that on there.
Let's see. Just digging through here. Kevin, did you have Hurt Locker handy?
I do. What do you need?
What's the bonus on a shotgun?
Oh, that's actually core book. Bonus.
I didn't see it in there. Do you remember what page
Yeah,
it's on?
Appendix 1, equipment. Weapons is first thing,
it's all the way down.
268.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you know what? Attack rolls do get the 9 again quality. I am sorry.
No worries. You're so you can have a 3. Or no, it's 3 damage, so there is no inherent bonus. So yeah, it's just a chance die. Give it a shot and hope for the best.
That is a success.
Excellent. You step back, creating enough of a space in between you that you can get that. If you lean up, you can sort of like
It's not a full barrel. It's not
Right, and
quite
he's-
like full short sawed off, but it's a shorter barrel. It's
And
designed to,
and he's
be
currently
shoved into
nuzzling
the-
your crotch. So I mean,
Yeah.
you still have to kind of do this number. Like he is
Yeah.
right up in your junk. So you still kind of have to do a little bit of this. And as you fire, he disintegrates, I guess would be the best way to describe what happens. It's reminiscent of a water balloon full of blood and meat breaking under the force of the shotgun blow. And you are absolutely littered with remains.
and his legs are still sitting in a chair.
Well, no, his legs were when he fell onto his legs were still connected to his body.
Oh,
So, like,
I thought
imagine
they
if
were
his-
still sitting in the chair.
No, like imagine if his thighs pushed the skin on his back out to make room
okay.
as they slid up. Yeah, so
Okay.
he was still kind of a dude that had just been folded in half.
The seal's intact, but the contents are broken.
Exactly.
Very
Just kinda
The
like-
Halloween
seal wasn't
candy.
even very intact.
Yeah, like someone kind of just shattered some of his skeleton and just rolled him around a little bit. You know?
It's like breaking a Butterfinger without unwrapping it.
Exactly. And so
Happy Halloween, everybody.
So now you're covered in this stuff. And that's bad. But what's even worse is the fact that his mouth, still intact, seemed to land at about maybe 5 feet in front of you on the ground, lips up. And it says to you, "You've just doomed yourself. You've just doomed us all."
And he's going to stomp on it.
Excellent. You stomp on that mouth.
Kind of doing a little bit of the heel grind that you do.
You know,
on,
as
like,
you
a
do,
really-
you stop the mouth.
Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and assume that this constitutes a breaking point for you. Something
Yeah.
about what's going on here does.
Yeah. They have 0 dots in occult. This is not their field. They don't even watch like The Living Dead or The Walking Dead or whatever. Like this is a no.
Okay, so real
What
quick,
do I
does
gotta
anyone
do?
does anyone have offhand where the integrity rolls? I know they're in the core book, but the page number offhand?
Index says 73 is highlighted, so moving to
Yep,
73.
here we go. I got it. Thank you so much.
Hmm?
So you get a +1 modifier because you are protecting yourself.
Mhm.
What's your virtue or your vice? And your vice, I should say.
Vice is hateful, virtue is loyal.
Well, I mean, I would say that this is accordance with your vice, right? You're acting out of a fairly hateful thing. And you're also witnessing the supernatural in a violent fashion. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, definitely.
So we're at a total net -2.
Killing in self-defense. I'm not sure this is killing though.
Right. We're gonna not call it obvious killing yet, but you are causing visible serious injury to a person. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and kick that on up to torture. So we're gonna just assume that you're operating at a -5. I need you to make a resolve composure -5. What's your actual integrity?
5.
Yep. Yeah. So your resolve composure -5.
I actually have dice.
Beautiful.
So,
That's a chunky roll. That's a lot.
and I succeeded.
Beautiful. You have come through the breaking point intact. You might feel guilty or upset about what happened, but you can cope. You may choose whether you feel guilty, shaken, or spooked by this encounter.
Definitely spooked. They have killed people before,
Okay.
but
None that kept talking?
none that folded in half at the waist and then tried to eat me.
Excellent.
So definitely spooked.
Okay, so you have the spooked condition. Just for your edification for those that are listening at home. When you have the spooked condition, your character has seen something supernatural, not overt enough to terrify her. I disagree, but we'll allow it at this point. But unmistakably otherworldly. How your character responds to this is up to you, but it captivates her and eats her attention. You can shed this condition when your character's fear and fascination cause her to do something that hinders the group or complicates things, such as going off alone to investigate a strange noise, staying up all night researching, running away instead of holding your ground, so on and so forth.
Okay, then.
I never understood why a spooked person would leave the group to investigate something, but you know,
It depends on
You
how
haven't
they're
watched many
taking
horror
it.
movies, have you? Yeah, you haven't watched many horror movies, have you? Right.
The
First
do you
people
remember
to
the
die
rules?
are kind of scared and are like, "What's going on out there?" And then Michael Myers comes out of nowhere with a knife. You know how it goes.
You've seen Scream, right? Do you remember the rules of a horror movie?
you're not spooked if you leave the room. You're spooked because you think it's bull. If you're spooked, you're the dude in House on Haunted Hill. I'm staying here and I'm drinking. I ain't going anywhere. I'm scared.
I think you think of maybe. I think you're thinking shaken would be more appropriate.
That's fair. And
of
I'm
a
dragging
term,
down. And I'm
which
dragging down the flow. So sorry.
You're doing no such thing. This is all good as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
So yes, you have the spooked condition. What would you like to do given that?
They just saw what in their brain, they're thinking back to horror movies that they've seen, and they remember an old black and white movie that involved the living dead. And they think they've just seen basically a zombie out of the original Night of the Living Dead, and they don't really have any way to study for it. But like, as soon as they're going to start devouring anything they can with how do I survive a zombie apocalypse?
Awesome. So like pulling out the phone and consulting the Library of Alexandria in your pocket.
Basically, while still covered in gore, by the way. They have not cleaned off at all.
You whip out your phone and immediately you get a notification that you have a text message.
Heads or tails?
You want me to choose?
Yeah, heads or tails.
Heads.
He will answer the text message, or at least look at it.
You pop open the text to look at it, and it says, we're all in this together. He has brought us here. He is the key and to our survival and our escape. Won't you join us? And then you get another text that says, join us. And then another text that says, join us. As you hear the back door to your safe house start to rattle.
Who found who this?
We just went creepy. We just went creepy pasta.
The back door is rattling, not the front door.
Not the front door that you are right next to, correct?
They're gonna run out the front door to their duffel bag in the back of the Studebaker.
Excellent. You turn the handle, looking through the safe house at the back door. The entire world seems to twist to a Dutch angle as that back door blows open, and something, you can't quite process what, but it has an awful lot of limbs and way too many mouths, is barreling at you through the house. It breaks through, it like comes directly through the kitchenette. So there's sort of like one of those reach through windows and just takes the wall out on its way through. It runs through the couch. If you imagine from its point of view, it's as if a camera had been nailed to a 2x4 and run through the room by a couple of crew members. What I'm saying is it's a very Sam Raimi shot from the preacher's point of view of you backing the fuck out of this place and directly into Grandma's, as everyone else around you is finally processing what is happening.
The old lady still in the diner?
Which old lady?
The one with the stapled face?
The one with the stapled face, yes, is absolutely still in the diner. She's about to soliloquize.
I was going to say, as soon as Arlo notices her, shotgun is just leveled on her face. He's out of ammo. You can hear the clicking as he's trying to pull the trigger. And Christian knows Arlo.
I was just gonna go, Arlo, what the fuck are you doing here?
And Margaret, you had a question? Oh, sorry.
No.
Oh, excellent.
Keep going, please.
I think your first concern would be, why are you covered in blood?
That is true.
Actually, I was thinking I turned my gun on you because you're covered in bits, and everybody I've seen covered in bits is a problem. So as far as I know, you're part of the problem.
Whoa, let's chill out.
I need all of you who have not yet done so and are in that scene, including those of you outside, to go ahead and give me those resolve composure rolls. Give me just a moment to bring that chart back up, because each of you
do I need to do a second one?
You do not need to make a second one.
Okay.
You are pretty well good to go for the foreseeable until you run into something that is an escalation.
That is worse.
Right. I will be the ultimate arbiter of what is considered worse. So for let's do this in just nice visual order. Sasha, what is your integrity score?
Mine is 7.
Okay, excellent. So you will get a +1 to your resolve composure at base. So far, I would say you are enduring a mental or emotional supernatural attack.
Mm. I did get teleported to my college dorm room. That was kind of freaky.
That was very freaky. And so
That's
I will
really
add
reassuring.
an extra -2
My
because
remote's poster.
that is a bizarre supernatural. So we're going to be a total of -3 to your resolve composure.
-3 to my roll.
Yep.
So I had a pool of 6. It's going down to a pool of 3. I got a 10 and an 8 and a 1.
Excellent. You may reroll that 10.
Another 10
Keep it going.
and a 9.
So that's 5 successes.
It is.
That is an exceptional success. You somehow have managed to not only survive the breaking point, but thanks to the reassurance of your Ramones poster, have also found meaning in it, reaffirming your own self-worth. You take a beat and regain a point of willpower had you spent one. So you feel...
Went through kind of a hellish situation, but I'm here. I'm surviving. Just got to figure out what the hell to do next.
Exactly. And Christian, your base integrity.
7.
Insofar as of yet, you have not been attacked other than emotionally. So, and you didn't get teleported anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and give you just a straight up -2.
Okay.
As this is-
Well, actually, it'd be straight +1 because you got a 7, so you have a +1 base.
Oh, all right. I'll take it.
As this is happening, you can just hear the click and recock of a double barrel shotgun as Arlo keeps trying to fire at the zombie lady.
9, 10, 10. Rerolled 10s, 9, 9.
Excellent.
5 total.
You also have a reaffirming self-worth. You take a beat and regain a point of willpower had you spent it. You feel a new set of resolve as you realize that there's a friendly face here, and this creature seems to want to talk. So you have those 2 things going for you, and that's the end of the good news. But it's enough good news to get you that beat.
Do I suspect this is the thing that's been following me?
Which thing? The thing that's talking to you right now? The lady with the face?
Yeah,
Possibly.
fair enough.
Could be. And then we'll step outside. So far, Silas, you have realized that there's no way you made it into town yet. Like, that is enough of a oddity to qualify as witnessing a supernatural occurrence at a -2. What is your base integrity?
Base integrity is a 7.
Excellent. So you'll just be at resolve composure -1, please.
I have a question because something in the previous scene may have constituted an explicit breaking point they had.
Oh,
When they witnessed their fingers, was it like cut, like clean cut, or was it looking like it was rotting?
it looked like your fingers had been microwaved for too long. Like they were split open.
I will leave this for you to be the arbitrator of, but just a little spoiler for something on Silas sheet. One of the explicit breakpoints is experiencing bodily rot or decay. I don't know if that messes with the modifier, if it makes it worse, but I thought I would just bring it up because
I don't think it's quite. I don't necessarily think that you would have associated those two in that moment.
okay.
It wasn't a wound that you would associate as rotting. That
Okay.
makes sense.
So I got you. All right. So then just the -1, and it's resolve and composure, which is not the worst thing in the world. So that's going to be 5 dice. We got 1 success.
Excellent. You come through, but may feel guilty or upset about what happened. You can choose to be either guilty, shaken, or spooked. And those conditions, if you need to look them up, are in the back in the appendix 3 of the Chronicles core book.
We'll go with spooked because Silas is offset, but also at the same time, it's like, I need to know what the fuck's going on.
Right. That's a fair choice. A fair choice. And I guess that just leaves us with Jason, correct?
Yep.
And what's Jason's core integrity, base integrity?
6.
6. All right. So you have no modifier from that. And the only thing that you've witnessed so far actually
6 gives you a +1.
is the movement. Oh, is 6 a +1?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I get for looking away for half a second. And you really have only witnessed supernatural occurrences. So really you're just going to be at a net of -1 when you
All
make
right.
this integrity check.
Yep, that is 1 success.
Excellent. You may choose guilty, shaken, or spooked.
Spooked.
That seems to be the vibe.
Yeah. I see no reason to change what's going. 3 of us are spooked.
So just to give you a quick breakdown of how this looks, both of you who are outside can see in the window. And you can clearly see this woman standing there, face stapled over, milky pustules and whatnot, maggots falling out of her eye. It's really gross. You see the person standing in the doorway covered in blood and gore, leveling a double-barreled shotgun at that creature. And the guy inside who had the gun shaking at the creature and then went like this. And you probably can't actually see Margaret from the window because of where she's coming out of the bathroom. So now that we've got that setting established, the woman does say, there's a hole in the world. You'd think you would have noticed. And he's fallen through and drug us all through with him.
Ooh.
The beast.
More importantly, who are you? Do you need a doctor? Do you need an ambulance? Do you need a lawyer?
It's been far too long for my needs to be addressed. Do tell me, I've got a sick curiosity. What year is it?
2022.
And she slams her head on the table. When she does, it forces out about a half a gallon of that pustulant discharge from her open eye socket.
Are we coming on that soup?
Pretty much.
You want soup after watching this?
No.
Pretty much
Out of character.
You can see that the waitress, by the way, is just standing there, just staring wide-eyed at this whole situation, as if almost as if she's just in utter shock, like she's not processing anything that is. She is gone on vacation.
That's reasonable.
Those of you who are outside can hear this shouting through the door, and definitely hear that slam on the table and the subsequent that happens.
Pretty much any jerky movement this lady makes elicits a loud click of the shotgun as he squeezes the trigger again.
I think it's still empty.
She looks up directly at you and says, oh, I wish that worked. And she starts walking over toward you in very jerky movements, opening her mouth. And as she's opening her mouth, you realize that she is straining against the bits of muscle that are left on the exposed side and the flesh on this side. And you can see them starting to rip, like she's distending her jaw, perhaps. And she immediately shoves both barrels of your gun into her mouth and says, I hope you don't find it disturbing if I make eye contact while you do it.
I just blasted one of you fuckers away. There's no way it won't work a second time. Someone give me a goddamn shell.
Don't think we're just carrying those around, Arlo.
She spits out the shotgun barrel. I would love nothing more than the peace of death.
All right, why don't you explain as clearly as you can just what's going on?
Get your friends inside before the fog falls in.
I am going towards the door to go get everyone.
Meanwhile, I'm contemplating, is it better to go inside with the weird zombie lady or the fog? I've seen several people disappear into the fog, but that's certain death with the zombie lady. So,
Well, if Stephen King has anything to say about it, the fog's worse. So
Yes.
yes, but I don't live as though I'm in a Stephen King novel.
Silas is just taking one
What are you
look
doing
at the
here?
fog.
You're a gamer. You know Silent Hill. Going into the fog is bad.
why isn't genre savvy a merit?
I would like to spend 15 XP on the merit meta.
There you go.
But all you get is a Facebook app.
Like,
Womp womp.
while the rest of everyone is gathering, Arlo has skedaddled off to the bathroom to try and wash some of the gore off of his face and
Okay.
as much of his body as he can using the shitty bathroom.
Take strength from the Ramones poster.
So you're just stumbling straight back into the bathroom,
Yeah.
sort of letting them talk whatever they're talking, the exchange happen, realizing that you're covered in gore, and so you pass the lawyer on your way back to the bathrooms. You pass this person that's just covered in gore, carrying a shotgun.
I'm not going to ask. I'm going to go get those two.
You walk through the room and get out to the front. What are you going to say when you step outside as these two are? I assume at this point Silas is getting out of the car or has gotten out of the car.
Silas has gotten out of the car, brushed themselves off, and when they see that shit, they reach in their pocket and it's just
Excellent. Out comes the blade.
You brought a knife to a zombie fight.
Hi. First off, are you okay? I saw that accident. Are you hurt?
I mean, I can feel my fingers and toes, so I guess I'm fine enough.
That's a plus. We're getting in here. The zombie lady has something to say. I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, and then like a zombie worker at a gas station, I walk into the gas station.
I hold the door open for you and give
Thank
you a
you,
pat
miss.
on the back.
In the time
And
that oh, go ahead, please.
I promise I get you. You'll get a nap soon. I promise.
Yeah, soup's coming.
Soup's coming.
This is giving you about a minute and a half to talk with the woman who is, when she sits down and everyone gets to their movement that they're doing, she yells at the waitress, "How about a cup of that French onion soup?" And the waitress just sort of robotically walks over and starts scooping out a cup of soup, not ever once taking her eyes off of the woman. You have about a minute and a half, Christian. What would you like to say?
I'm gonna walk over and just take that soup for this poor woman.
Okay.
Like, Christian's cold. He's not a complete asshole. Just take that, take the whole carafe of coffee, walk back over, set it down, and I'm gonna sit across from her.
She first sniffs the soup, then pours some of it into the open side of her face and lets it sort of just dribble down. And then like dips a hand in it and starts rubbing it on the exposed muscle and like wincing in horrid pain when she does. And she's, it's been so long since I've felt anything.
Define how long. You asked what year it was. What were you expecting?
I went missing in 1889.
Okay, we've exited logic. So, how did this happen?
How much do you know about quantum physics?
I have academics too.
Sure.
It's not science, though. I don't.
She Says, have you ever heard of Gabriel's horn theory? You can make a science roll or an academics roll at -1.
I'll take the academics. It's something. Is that intelligence then?
Mhm.
All right. 2, 1. Let's see what. Wow, I have.
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
It's kind of a subset of superstring theory that that the universe kind of has effectively a hole in it that grows exponentially smaller and infinitely distant from the surface of the world. It's entirely theoretical. Nobody's been able to prove it, but mathematics suggests that there's kind of a hole in reality that just gets smaller and deeper forever.
So you've got a pretty good working of modern string theory for somebody from the 1800s.
I picked it up from another one of us.
There are a lot of you?
A few dozen.
All been here that long?
No, it's really hard to fall into the horn.
Are we falling now?
We can't be. I'm here. This is real. About this time, everybody makes their way back into the main room.
I'm going to look at the soup. Going to look at the pus on the table, and I'm going to take a hard swallow and just try and sit down and ignore it.
All right, you sit down at the same table. What are Silas and Jason doing?
I am not in a condition to where sitting down would be conducive to my consciousness. I am going to remain standing and backed off given the soup situation this person has going on.
You definitely smell among the various bodily fluids that you're currently smelling. You also smell very fresh, greasy spoon coffee that would probably be the next best thing to shotgunning a monster as far as for waking up would go.
Yeah, I'm gonna just. The waitress is hypnotized, right?
Yeah, she's gone right now. She's
cool. I'm gonna just.
The lights are on, but there's nobody there.
Cool. I'm gonna just go and make myself a coffee.
Excellent.
Just
you do so.
Pay attention in the background.
And Silas?
Silas is just silently pulling out their sketchbook again, and they're drawing this lady. Not a word, just immediately capturing as much detail as they can.
And Arlo, when you come out of the bathroom and you see all this, what do you do?
Heavy sigh. They still have their shotgun. They know it's empty at this point. That has registered finally in their brain that they have fired both shots of their shotgun, but it's still there because they can club somebody with it.
Enough cold water on your crotch will help wake anybody up. That's
at this point, it's they've managed to get all of the blood off of their face, and I mean it's still there's bits in their hair and stuck to their shirt and stuff like that, but at least you can see a face now.
Excellent.
And I don't think Christian would know Arlo well enough to know when he's seen some shit, but he very much has a look of, I don't really understand what the fuck I just saw. And
you experience a renewal of that feeling as you come out of the bathroom, and that woman is still there and now being quite conversational. As she
same look is being mirrored on Margaret's face. Just
she takes a bite of her soup and then pours a second spoonful into her eye socket and sort of does this and is like grunting in pain while she does. And you can like hear the soup swishing around inside the open socket. And she pours it out.
Through the ocular cavity.
All right. She says, I haven't felt a physical sensation in so long. Sorry. It's a little overwhelming. I'm surprised How do I know modern science? It's a good question. How did we wind up here? Sorry, I'm catching up. She starts picking at the staples.
Oh, don't put.
Big-
That's just gonna make it worse. No.
Big swig of coffee in the raw. I hate coffee, Black. But right now it's taking the sting of this woman out of my nose.
What would you say if
Consider
I
more-
told you that the world has a certain order to it, a certain threshold for depravity? And when someone crosses that threshold, they fall through the fabric of being into Gabriel's horn.
You're talking about a connection between morality, philosophy, and quantum physics.
She nods. I am.
God, I'm back at church with the vicar again.
Oh, I don't think there's any gods involved in this.
Oh, thank God. Or
If
well,
there-
thank whatever there is.
Yeah, well,
If-
it seems like hell's a factor.
I don't know. I have so many memories. It's hard to tell what's mine.
Where'd you get the
That's-
others then?
When someone falls into Gabriel's horn, the world turns against you. It shows you everyone you love, everything you care for, everything you want, and it twists them and it desecrates those thoughts and feelings, and it digs up every ugly secret that you've hidden in the deepest recesses of your consciousness and brings them to truth. And once it has broken you by doing so, you become part of it. Another soul, another sin floating around inside, waiting for the next arrival.
So you did something so morally repugnant, you fell into hell. And we're doing the same thing.
No, that's what's so weird about this.
So
That's
hell's
what's so
broken.
weird.
She looks over at the waitress.
That's so
Do you have popsicles? That's enough that the waitress goes, what? Popsicles or ice cream, something cold, please. The waitress goes and gets a popsicle. She says, each time someone new falls in, we shift, we become their sins. But a creature fell in, a person so vile and foul that the process itself rejected them. Instead of becoming their sins, we just started to become more ourselves. And then he fell back out. And I think he ripped a hole in the hole when he did.
So if I'm tired, so if I'm getting this straight, something so bad hell was like, no, I don't want this. You threw it out, and now it's here, and you're here because of it. Huh?
Threw it out or broke out?
If it wasn't conducive to hell, I assume hell got rid of us.
The way I've come to understand it is that it's similar to a vibration almost. And evil has a frequency.
You said a hole inside of a hole. Quantum theory suggests that ripping a hole inside of a hole implodes that hole. So you're saying whatever, let's just call it a portal or event horizon you're talking about has been inverted, and now it's spitting out all the things that it collected.
That sounds close. Yes, probably. The waitress comes over with the popsicle and she just takes the popsicle kind of with it absentmindedly and just shoves it all the way into her eye socket. And like, oh.
I reach in my
Get
pocket
it?
and
Get it
pull
in
out
there.
some codeine Why don't you try that?
Oh, what are these? She takes them.
Yes, give the zombie drugs.
If you were going to give a zombie a drug,
You'd want it to be a painkiller.
it's not bath salts.
Yeah.
It's valid.
People
So
should just chill.
I'm playing in my virtue of generous.
I love it. She says, I'm not sure how or why, but I think his crimes were too great for the world to process, much like they were too great for this world to process.
And now the whole sewer system of hell or purgatory, wherever the hell this horn is clogged up and spitting everything out.
Something like that, yes. Go ahead.
So that's why you're sitting here and talking to us and not trying to scare us with turning into our greatest repressed memories or whatever.
Right. I don't have access to them right now, which is weird. Normally, when I look at a person, I can tell every little dirty secret they've ever done. But I can't read any of you. And you, she points at Christian, are like a hole in the fog.
Look out at the fog. Is that normal? Fog?
Yes. It usually comes along with a lesson. The lessons of the horn flay the thing that you were, the monster you were, away, creating a whole new monster of sin.
So this place, what, cleans people?
I think it turns them into demons. And we
I
are
think-
speaking to one such demon.
I think you're right on the money there.
If I am a demon, I am very cross, and I'm going to have a discussion with the powers that be because I didn't get anything neat.
Well,
So
depends on the definition. And as they're saying that, Silas is going to go in and observe this stapling. And we're going to do something so fucking horrible.
oh no. Oh no.
Oh yes.
They're not going to like touch at it or anything, but I would like to use both tolerance for biology and the taste merits. And they kind of want to take a look at this and say, is this just some chaotic assemblage of like, oh, this is like a car crash victim. It's like there's a disorder, no pattern to it, just not divine, but like just entropy and chance. Or does this look like someone crafted this specific monstrosity with purpose? Is this pure evolutionary, just throwing spaghetti at the wall and this is what stuck? Or was this like meticulously made?
Go ahead and I guess, are you looking at crafts or medicine for this?
Definitely craft work, because Silas is kind of having a moment of, you know what? If they're saying they fell into this place or this object and they're peeled away and then made into something, well, that makes them the material.
Sure, that's good thinking. Go ahead and give me that crafts roll. You can add your choice of intelligence or composure.
We're going to go in composure because we're not smart. I am going to hope that painting doesn't apply to this.
It does not, but I would like to point out as well, just a reminder, you can spend willpower to gain 3 additional dice
Yeah, 3 different dice.
on a roll. So just FYI, at any time you may spend a point of willpower to do that.
Roger that. We will not be doing it this time.
As Silas is doing this, Arlo is going to think back to hearing them say something about being from the 1800s and remember a particular nursery rhyme, and is going to ask them, Are you Lizzie Borden?
She chuckles. Amateur hour.
Oh.
Never even showed up in the horn.
Huh.
Wow, I feel like that was a very cold and dismissive thing to say about somebody's tragedy.
Is
So
this? You
Go ahead.
please go, please.
What'd you get on your?
We got a 10 and a 9, but the 10 just gave us a 4, so just only 2.
There's definitely some sort of method to this. This was done with some sort of deliberation, though you're not sure if it was to please some twisted aesthetic or if it was to, cause maximum pain, or to somehow, like, it definitely looks like you can pretty well guess that something must have had to do with perception, eyes, maybe looking, maybe looks if there's any sort of like poetic justice to or reason to the punishment that you're looking at. Her initial offense may have had something to do with seeing things.
This was proactive, not reactive.
Right. If that tracks.
Silas just like they have tolerance for biology. They don't have tolerance for cosmic body horror from beyond comprehension. It's a slow morph on the face from like sick curiosity to you looked somewhere you weren't supposed to, didn't you?
I looked a lot of places I weren't supposed to. Did you have something that you were going to ask, Jason, or were you just correcting something in your screen? I saw you move a hand. I didn't know if you were waving.
I had something and then I was. I can wait for it later. It's something that might not be conducive.
Oh, that's okay. I'm all for throwing a wrench in the works right when I'm dropping exposition. So please.
No. I got more interested in the exposition than throwing the wrench in the work.
That's fair.
Is this localized to this area, or are you pulling in people from all over?
Gabriel's horn exists wherever sin exists, wherever humanity exists.
Or a cattail?
I don't even know where we are. Where are we?
Lyndon Station, Wisconsin.
Never been to
Population of a truck stop and some old rundown buildings.
And now hell itself.
Apparently.
I'm from New York.
Have you run into any locals here? I'm looking for a woman.
Looking for a woman. A local woman.
Yeah. Jennifer Stone. Do you know her?
Do I know her? No, but I smelled her. Poor thing.
Where?
In the horn. Usually, it doesn't grab anyone who isn't meant to be there, but sometimes if someone's offense, if the triggering, inciting incident that lets them fall in is grave enough, they'll bring people in their vicinity, almost like it has a weight, a gravity to it that draws in additional souls.
So like, when you say this, you mean like it's a single point where like a group of people all together, or is it like over a period of time people disappear?
It's different from time to time. I've seen a bus accident in which 4 of the 20 passengers fell into the horn and only one of them remained.
420 blazed. Sorry, that was
I've seen people drawn in over the course of days across personal relationships, regardless of distance. A group of siblings in the 1960s on separate sides of the planet arrived within a day of one another.
Okay. So that's 6 people that we're never getting back. Shane
So
pours another cup of coffee.
It gets a lot more than 6, my man.
No, there's 5 after images, and all 5 of those people are missing. So it's 6 people we're not getting back. So I mean,
it would make
right
it would make sense if this person was foul enough to rip their way out. They could be local to here. That might be why it's focused on here. The fog in the horn puts you where you need to be. The fact that you're all here indicates to me that maybe it works.
Okay. So
oh,
who's the serial
joy.
killer?
Am I a serial killer?
Not you. Who's the serial killer? It's not me.
Not me. I've not done anything wrong in my life. So
I mean, I
No judgment. We're all in hell at this point. I'm not gonna blame you, but I want to know who the serial killer is.
Hey, I'm the hole in the fog. Clearly,
well, not him.
I don't know, man. She just said the person was able to rip the house, and the fog is the tool of the thing, and you're the hole.
I may have bought human bones at one point or another for our projects, but I never did the actual killing. In fact, I think it was one of you two that I contacted now that I think about it.
As intrigued as I am by your acquisition of corpses, that is hardly the type of thing that gets you sent to the horn.
So someone was able to become so dastardly that they became a creature, fell into this horned Gabriel hell, whatever it is, was so bad that they made it spit out in reverse. And now we're trapped in basically a vegetable soup of hell itself until what? How do we fix this?
you're
You also gotta
presupposing
remember that Hell decided that we all had to be in the same location.
you're presupposing we're trapped too.
You want to go outside in the fog? I think that's trapped.
I don't know, man. I was teleported here.
Same. I was in my dorm room for a second there. I don't
But
know what the hell.
I was chased out of my safe house by an eldritch abomination.
Sorry? That seems pertinent. Hello? What's your name? What's your story?
She sniffs you and like gets up and like walks over and starts sniffing all over you. I mean, like the exposed, she doesn't really have a nose per se, but there is kind of that nasal cavity, almost rubbing, like hovering close enough that it's like the sibling I'm not touching you kind of contact. As she breathes in deeply and says, Roland, you saw Roland.
I kind of shot him with my shotgun twice.
Good, he was not a nice person.
He tried to eat me.
Sounds about right. That was what got him there in the first place.
So he's a cannibal.
Yes.
Okay.
Is he dead now?
No, very much no. I shot him until he disintegrated. That is why any motions to the remaining
that does
bits.
explain. Yeah.
Yeah. And his mouth landed on the ground and was still talking.
Because that's terribly depressing.
And then he sent me text messages. And he pulls out the phone and shows
Well, my
them
phone. Do I have signal?
the join us, that I'm assuming is still going on.
You've not received any new texts, and no one has signal at the moment, but those texts are still present. And she looks at your phone and says, well, that wasn't Roland.
Who?
At least, unless he's picked up some literacy skills from his past personalities.
Look, Miss I don't know what your name is.
You can
Do you want an actual serial killer from that time frame? Because I have been looking them up.
she's really not a serial killer.
Okay.
She says, That's an excellent question. Shit. What is my name? It's funny the things you forget.
I asked you earlier and you seemed to brush it off, thinking it wasn't important, but I would like to know more about you if I can.
The only name I remember from all of the faces I've worn is Kitty.
Kitty.
Hold
Okay,
on, hold,
Kitty.
That raises questions that I don't want to know. the
Faces
answer to.
you've worn.
hold
Are
up.
we talking literal like what's the guy's name?
Leatherface.
Well, no, he would be
Buffalo
referencing the
Bill.
actual
Oh,
historic.
Ed Gein.
Yeah, Ed Gein. Are you like talking literal Ed Gein wearing of someone's face, or
I quietly whisper the name Genovese.
She says, yes, though that's not me. I wore her face once.
Remember, she said that they play the part in somebody's damnation.
Yes, there's no flesh. There's no flesh in the horn.
Wait,
What are you wearing then?
Now?
What are we wearing?
We're not
Well-
born.
I'm wearing what I came equipped with and have been cultivating for 28 years.
I'm
That
wearing
looks-
flannel.
That's not what I mean. Kitty, what are you occupying?
I would assume this is my body.
Really good for someone who's been rotting for a while.
I would assume I haven't been rotting. I would assume this was the state that I entered the horn in, or this was done to me on some level spiritually.
Whoever did it had purpose. This wasn't an accident. It's too meticulous.
Hellraiser-esque?
A little. She says, I'm not, I know I wasn't meant to see things. I know I saw forbidden visions. I remember that. But my name is a mystery to me. I remember playing Kitty. Genovese, yes, I remember that name. I played the role.
It's kind of fucked up that you got punished for seeing something when you can't really help seeing things unless you went out looking for it.
And more fucked up that you can't remember the name that you wore when you did it.
That might be a mercy, actually.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Though I tell you, the memories I have of wearing that face are no picnic.
All right. We get some brass tacks here, everybody. We're in the middle of some kind of fog that breaks quantum physics, talking to an otherwise dead person about a, again, quantum physics-based hole that has imploded due to something too evil for hell being spat back out.
Also, morality has just been proven real to us.
But by what scale?
Exactly.
I might be disbarred after this.
I think we've got bigger problems, Miss Stark.
How'd you know my name?
You know Jimmy Gross?
Oh, yeah.
He gave me your card if I ran into some trouble. I checked out your website. I recognized your picture.
Oh, you did?
So
Yeah,
you're
that's
all,
not
GeoCities.
ignorant.
GeoCities, really.
Look.
Kitty
I
cocks
was
her
on
head
a
to the
budget.
side and says, you all know each other?
Kinda. I represented James, and I point to James.
Green Arlo?
Or
I know.
Arlo, yeah.
I know Arlo.
It was one of you two that gave me that shipment once, but beyond that, like, I don't remember any of you.
I think I'd remember.
I
That
work at the
was
gas
probably
station. I've
me.
seen all of them at least once.
What a flimsy connection. But we may be able to weaponize it.
But our
Against-
friendship,
Against what
Sort of.
or who?
Friendship, love, trust, those are the things that make the fog recoil. Some people, not everyone that falls in the horn becomes a sin. Some people were never meant to be there in the first place and they're returned safely. Others earn their redemption. They find a peace. You see, it's not simple evil that is punished in the horn. It's apathy. It's the process of continuing the evil beyond its purpose, beyond its thrill, beyond its motivation, when it's no longer being done as but just as a simple rote of foulness. That is what the horn seeks.
So,
And if in its tests of you, it can spark those emotions, spark that regret, that guilt, that remorse, that love, whatever you've lost, it sends you home repaired.
Hold up. So, like, I'm okay from the crash. Nothing's broken. All right. I am whole. I am fine. I do not need to be here. I am just here for my own reasons. Whatever this is. All right. Look, I literally just do paintings, drawings, sculptures. Do I need to answer for the sins of having like human remains dug up? Okay. Yes, I will. But Hellraiser level. You're not helping. You are not helping. Okay. Being transported to a hell site dimension for using human remains for an art project is a little extreme, don't you think? I should not be here.
You didn't get transported anywhere.
we're still on Earth. It's come to us, and it's locked onto our mistakes.
Or it's locked onto your friendship, or it's locked onto other possibilities. Perhaps the world itself is drawing you together to act as an inoculant against this illness, this festering wound that's leaking forth.
That would be hilarious.
Hell needs a lawyer. That's kind of funny. I
think
they would
Hell's-
have plenty.
I know, the
Pretty sure
world-
hell is a lawyer.
Maybe hell does need a lawyer.
You keep saying hell, but this does not feel like hell. This feels like a purgatory.
Hell is is shorthand for shorn primates that can't wrap their head around the nature of the cosmos. It could be
I am a
hell.
primate.
It could be hell. It could be. It's many things. It's Gabriel's horn. It's a hole in the world.
Look,
And
hell is the absence of God's light, and if God is love, then that sounds pretty apt.
sure, if you believe in that sort of thing. I was never a believer. I prayed, I prayed that God would purge the horrible desires from me. And he didn't. I remember that.
What's up for belief and up for debate is very much in flux considering current circumstances. But I'd also like to point out that if this all links into string theory, then time is something of an illusion, which means it might not just be what we've done, but what we may yet do. It's not a question of what you've done. It might also be something you are moving toward. Or, as Kitty says, some kind of inoculant situation. We are drawn as part of an immuno response against this mutation caused by this preposterously heinous person, which, not to make this sound too much like a video game or a fable, you're not suggesting we've been brought together to stop somebody of such unspeakable evil that they broke quantum physics, are you?
I guess that would be one way to put it. And part of the reason I am willing to take that leap is you.
Who?
You.
Mr. Hole in the Fog.
You're a hole in the
apparently.
fog. There's something about you that means that no matter what you do, you wouldn't be welcome in the Horn. I've seen it before.
What happened then?
A sorcerer of great power tried to force their way into the Horn.
All right, before anybody says magic doesn't exist, remember who you're talking to right now.
All right.
Yes,
I will.
I'm very interested about sorcery now.
Like Harry Potter? What?
Kind of. They
How do you
bounce
know about Harry Potter?
because we get constant references. I know more about the pop culture of the last 150 years than anything else.
That
That's
Okay,
that's
that
the
tracks.
saddest. That is the saddest part about this existence.
it
That does not say a lot
Sorry,
about
you
us.
know about Bitcoin.
That is the saddest part of this existence.
No flying cars, but we got an MCU. You take what you get, I guess.
She says, the sorcerer bounced off the horn. They couldn't get through despite the powers of their magics, despite being able to reach into other realms. They were able to speak to some of us. And they theorized that there's something about the horn that prevents the supernatural from making its way inside.
You're presupposing I'm supernatural.
And she said you're a hole in the fog. I'm going to assume you're some kind of supernatural, which means everybody grab onto him if we start to feel full.
I'm telling you, whether you know it or not, there's something more than human about you. And that something is going to protect you.
Question. Why did your cannibal friend tell me to break the seal so you can all go?
I don't know, but I have a theory. He may believe, as may some of the other sins, that if we can kill the party responsible, that it will somehow leave us here as the whole seals.
To hopefully die. No offense.
Oh, none taken. It would be a release.
He was trying to trigger a hell break then.
Is that a video game reference, or are you into this stuff?
No, it's jailbreak, but it's not jail. It's hell.
So what
Fair
do
enough.
you want out of all this? Like, why are you helping us? If that one, and they'll point to Arlo with their knife. If that one had to fight one and blow its brains out, why are you helping us?
I thought that was abundantly clear. I crave an end to this. And I will get it by any means necessary. I am opting to converse with you.
We'll
you
help
also
you.
want to trigger the hell break then.
I'll
I
try
would
and
like-
help you any way I can, okay?
I would like to make a wits plus empathy roll with specialization lies.
Sure. Please do.
All right.
Silas is just holding that knife out, like
I'm going to give you a penalty of -3 because you can't make eye contact.
You're
Can
fair,
I make-
Travis. You're tough, but you're fair. But with this roll, honestly, I might have a shot. I got 2 10s and an 8. Rerolling 10s. A 9 and a 10.
Hey.
Another 10.
Hey.
Oh, keep it going.
And
keep
a
it
7.
Going. Beautiful.
That was
So
That was exciting.
yeah.
in addition to being reasonably certain that she is absolutely telling you 100% truth and that her clear motivation is an end to this current existence. Like there's no tell that she is not being 100% on the level with you about that. You will also gain the inspired condition.
All right.
You are inspired in regards to the direct pursuit of understanding how Gabriel's horn functions and how to close the current rift.
Excellent.
So it will that you can use that for any skill roll that's pertinent to that. When you do, you gain a willpower point, and it considers the roll an exceptional success on 3 successes rather than 5. So once you do that, you've spent the condition. Make sense?
This went infinitely better than I planned.
Yeah. You also come to the conclusion that if somehow this can be closed without immediately sucking everything from it and everything else in the vicinity back into the hole, chances are very good that she and everyone in her position will just drop over dead.
That would be an end to their existence. So
They will go out in a very Chitauri-like fashion.
I mean, look, I don't want to go presupposing anything. We're operating way in the realm of theory here, but we are talking about subverting some kind of meeting between moral philosophy and quantum physics. And physics dictates that when you empty something out, something else moves in to fill it. And with all respect, I'd love to not be what fills the hole of hell.
Despite her clear lack of eyeball, she focuses her gaze directly on you and says, "You have nothing to worry about from that."
I feel it's the rest of us that do.
So
Great.
That seems like an appropriate time to wrap things up for this week. What do you say?
That is a smooth landing, Travis. That's good.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns about tonight's session?
Nope.
All good. Terrifyingly good.
Unexpected, but very welcome.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I'm glad you all had a good time. Let's go ahead and give everybody an opportunity to just real quick tell us who you are, what you do, who you're playing, pronouns, anything you'd care to promote. This time we'll start things off with the Will. Please, your pertinence.
Hello, I am the Will. The is important. So I don't exist online. However, I exist as one of the Rolling Nomads. You can catch us on Twitter at _the Rolling Nomads, here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Rolling Nomads, or YouTube on the Rolling Nomads YouTube channel. We stream fairly regularly Fridays and Mondays. We have a Sunday game coming up after this month, but that's less important. Yeah, it's basically having that end. I was playing Jason Smith. He, him. I am a he, them. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I just threw a link to the Rolling Nomads in the chat. Please head over there and give them a follow. Make sure you check them out when they go live, and join some of their crew on Sundays here for Scion Godsend. Next up, Mint, please, your pertinence.
Hi, I'm Mince. You can find me on Twitter at It's Minty Bitch. Fair warning, it's very much a queer hellscape, but if that's your thing, come on through. Tonight I've been playing Silas Cursed. They go by they, them. Personally, I use any pronouns, so any are welcome. Anything plug? I am a part of the crew for Neon Gore over with Extra Crow here on Twitch. News sees that to be announced sometime. And a couple other projects bouncing around that are still in the works a little bit. Any final thoughts? make sure you're feeding your pets and go clean that litter box that you haven't touched yet. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the horn.
Beautiful. And I would invite James to drop the shout out because I can't remember how to spell Crow's channel in the chat.
Gotcha.
I believe you have the moderator privileges to do so.
Oh yeah, I've been hanging out in Stream Manager the whole time.
Appreciate you. And speaking of, while you're doing that high important technical stuff, can you also tell us who you are, what you do, you've been playing, pronouns, and all that fun stuff?
I am James, they, him. I have been playing Arlo Keen, a he, him, who is the very confused, slowly becoming zombie hunter, who is a little bit jumpy on the trigger. You can also find me at Crow's channel. If it'll actually let me post it. There we go. You can also find me there. I am part of the Neon Gore cast, as well as going to be running Broken Heroes, hopefully by the end of the month, as soon as I make it all the way back to the other side of the country. And for Halloween, I believe we are doing a They Came From Beyond the Grave one shot. So you can see me there as well, playing Logan, the very reluctant mystic.
That is A, beautiful, and B, a lovely segue and reminder that this is the 10th anniversary of Onyx Path. Each month to celebrate that anniversary, we're running special deals over at Drive-Thru RPG and at Indie Press Revolution. Current deals are on They Came From Beneath the Sea. That is the game line we are focused on this month. Right now, you can get all the Beneath the Sea PDFs for 10% of their retail price. That is not off, that is of. So run over and grab them while that sale lasts, because it's about to switch to a different part of the line. Next up, Kevin, let's have your pertinence, please.
Sometimes you just wake up in trouble, and that's when you're Christian Donovan. He doesn't talk like this. That's just what's in his head. I'm Kevin Zarnicki. I'm a TTRPG developer, primarily for Shadowrun, but I've had a few things to do with Onyx Path, including one of the new Trinity Continuum things. Aside from that, I also do voiceover. You can hear me now in a Blue Cross Blue Shield series of ads. Ho! Very glamorous. I also teach both of these things, so hit me up at kevin.r.zarnicki@gmail.com if you too would like to break into the exciting world of voiceover, like everybody does now. You can also find me at Necromancy 101 on Twitter.
I also would like to compliment you because I think Christian's inner monologue reminds me of the Max, and I love that. So I think it's pretty dope.
I'll take it. I was kind of channeling some Full Throttle from LucasArts back in the day.
Nice. And that brings us to Sasha. Please give us all of your pertinent details.
Hello, thanks for watching along with us. My name is Sasha. I have been playing Margaret Stark. I am she, they. Margaret is she, her. As far as shoutouts go and final thoughts, I don't really have anything other than trans rights are humans' rights and love each other and be good to your loved ones.
All good things to put out into the world. And I guess that leaves me, Travis, he, they. When I'm not running games, I'm writing them. I do want to remind you that this story that we're running through is a version of Fog Over Lyndon Station that is available in the Shards of Contagion book over at the Storyteller's Vault. It's available in PDF right now. So if you wanted to bring some of these tools to your table, you can go pick that up. I did a little bit of writing on that and worked in sort of like a development capacity, and I'm super proud of the work the team did. It's a really cool mashup of the Contagion Chronicle and the Chronicles of Darkness mirrors settings. So like, for example, if you want to bring in urban fantasy into your Contagion Chronicle game, we got that covered. Cyberpunk, we got you covered. The Darkness Destroyed, we've got you covered. You want to take your Contagion Chronicle into space, it's covered in that book. So head over and snatch that up for the spooky season.
As it just dropped and it's spooky season, it's blurring. Scarred Lands, Dead Man's Rust. They're coming out, man. Necromancy.
I love it. Thank you so much for bringing it up. Yes, go to your friendly local game store and ask them to pick you up a copy of Scarred Lands Dead Man's Rust. It'll be available. I think you can pre-order it now. It's going out to backers. So if you backed it on Kickstarter, make sure you're checking your emails for tracking numbers.
And isn't there a new They Came From game coming out? Something like They're Coming to Get You, Barbara?
Oh, I'm not sure what the next They Came From game to come out is. There's They Came From Beyond the Grave is coming up in our sales.
I just remember someone promoting it on the Trinity stream.
That is quite possible. It all turns into one big book in my head. But having said that, I also wanted to, because I forgot to do this at the beginning, I want to let you all know that Roll20Con is coming up, and we're going to have a couple of shows as part of that. But we also have a wonderful bundle where you can get Scion Origin and Scion Hero for 30% off at Roll20. So if you've been looking at getting into Story Path and you want to incorporate that into Roll20 as your virtual tabletop, no better way to do it than grabbing that Scion bundle. And that will be at that price for a limited time through Roll20Con. I have kept us 8 minutes over, and I hate eating up people's time. So I will wrap things up there and just remind you to please get your shots, wash your hands, wear a mask, do everything you can to take care of yourselves and each other. See you soon.
Bye.